Just wow. Oh my God. Wow. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how you end a cartoon. Or just a TV show in general. This is exactly how you end a TV show. Animated or not. And once again, major spoilers ahead, you have been warned. What is up, people of the world? It's me again, Alex Wimmer, aka AP3 Jumped, and today I'm reviewing the final episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, entitled The Last Problem. You know, it's funny. I thought this episode was going to be called The Ending of the End Part 3. And I thought this was the first three-parter. That wasn't the case at all. The ending of the end was still in two parts, and this episode, the final episode included in the 90-minute finale, was its own thing. It has a different name, because the difference between The Last Problem and The Ending of the End is that whereas The Ending of the End was this bombastic final showdown to save Equestria, the final battle. This episode, on the other hand, takes the approach of winding things down. And it does it in a perfect way. Because whereas the ending of the end was very close to being perfect, despite a few things that didn't make it. There was a few things about the ending of the end that didn't warrant that it being like completely perfect, although it was really close. The Last Problem, on the other hand, is a perfect episode in my eyes, and let me tell you why. Let me start from the beginning. So this episode starts off with something that I never would have expected, honestly. But now that I see it, it makes perfect sense. It starts off with a flash forward, or the world of tomorrow, as the wiki likes to put it. So it starts off with this character named Luster Dawn. She's this brand new character. Even in the very end of the series, we're seeing brand new characters. This is one of the last new characters, and she's actually Twilight Star student, and this is actually many moons later is what the show says. I forgot to point that out. So yeah, that's a cool little title card, by the way. I think that was exclusive to the 90-minute finale. Whereas if you watch this episode all by itself, it wouldn't be there. So Twilight Sparkle, she's turned into more. She looks like an Alcorn princess now. She's taller. She has Celestia's model. She's now the complete immortal princess that she's meant to look like as a princess of Equestria. And let me tell you something. Seeing that, and seeing Spike all grown up too, by the way, that's pretty damn mind-blowing. And I'll get more into that later on. I can't wait to gush about this later. Spike was actually the first character we see in this episode. And then we see Luster. Then we see Twilight. And so we find ourselves in sort of a little bit of a deja vu situation to the very beginning of the series. And, we end as we began. And that's a very prominent theme throughout this episode. So Lester Dawn, this new character, is she is having she's like I said, she's Twilight's top student, and Spike is questioning why, because Lester is saying that she sort of finds she finds friendship to be a waste of time, and she doesn't really see the whole point of it. And then Spike he's just like, what? And he's like, how, this is your star student? And then Twilight goes in and explains a little bit of her story and how she was worried about losing friends and why she had doubts in friendship. So we flash back to we flash back to the part that takes place immediately after the ending of the end part 2, where Twilight's coronation is about to happen, and well, Twilight is actually worried that she and her friends will drift apart because, she's moving back home to Camelot, but as the new princess of Equestria, and so she's asking all her friends how they're. Spike actually suggests to Twilight to ask her friends if they're okay with it and whatnot, and they're kind of sort of pretending that they aren't, and I could see and I could tell that from a mile away that the rest of the main 6 they were like, oh, we're just trying to get ready for the coronation. And then Twilight, she asks every pony, all of her friends, and gets sort of disappointed by the fact that it seems that her friends don't really care about her leaving. And see, we flash forward to the point where Twilight and all the main 6 meet up, and Twilight calls her friends out on this sort of thing. Excuse me. She gets very upset by this. She was like, "Oh, you guys are clearly too preoccupied about worrying about the coronation than worrying about where the fact that we might drift apart." And Twilight's like, "Well, that's my biggest fear of all of us drifting apart." And turns out I was right. And turns out Twilight was right. Well, she didn't exactly suspect this, but the rest of Twilight's friends, they were all pretending like everything was okay, but they were all doing that to try to make Twilight feel better. And well, that didn't exactly work out. And turns out all of the main 6, they're all worried that they're going to lose touch and they're all going to drift apart. And it's at that point we come to see like the final group hug, one of the final group hugs in the series. And yeah, that talks about what it's in that scene where they show like the final lesson. And it's a great final lesson. You know how I've been saying here lately, for the more recent episodes, they've been having lessons that I have been able to relate to more than any other season of lessons. This is, for it being the last lesson, I feel like it's the most important one in the whole series, I feel like. And it ties into so many things. It ties into what's happening within the show, and it also breaks the fourth wall. It, like I said, it has multiple meanings behind this, and that you should really try to hold on to your friendships as long as you can, and you shouldn't really worry about staying stuck in the past. This is a very deep kind of lesson. So the gist of it is that you should always look forward to the future, and it's also it's kind of like what Yoda said in one of the Star Wars movies. He said to never be afraid to let go of anything you fear to lose. Although in that example, that was a bit more of a drastic situation. The point still stands. I feel like that is also relevant to this situation. How Twilight shouldn't be afraid of losing her friend. Well, perhaps I could be wrong about what I said. So, maybe I am wrong. And if that's the case, then I take back what I said. So, the gist of this lesson is that Twilight should. It's always. Perhaps what you always said could be taken a different way in this light, because this is a very well layered lesson, and it's. I told you this would be difficult for me to talk about, because Twilight was worried about her losing her friends, and that's not going to be the case, because we're moving on to the actual coronation. We get it winds up being a disaster. Everything just falls flat. The fireworks are going off in the wrong time, and that's sort of disrupting the routine of the Wonderbolts, and the caterers are pouring apple sauce instead of apple juice, but it doesn't matter. Everyone laughs about it, and Twilight and Spike, they give a little going away present for Twilight, and it's a book of memories, like clips throughout the series, and their friend and all the friendships that they've made. And so yeah, it's another I'm glad we have another episode that has flashbacks in it, because the last time we've seen an episode with flashbacks was like the season 3 finale, I think. But so yeah, and I'm glad Twilight has a little memory book like that, so for whenever she misses her friends in Ponyville. And Twilight finishes telling her story to Lester Dawn, explaining that friendships can be hard and do take work to maintain, but life is even harder without them. And Lester does take Twilight's lesson to heart, and she does realize that friendship isn't exactly a waste of time, and like she originally thought. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So we go back to the flash forward, and actually no, scratch that. We're gonna rewind a little bit. So we're going back to the coronation, and so Twilight's first decree as the new Princess of Equestria is that she wants to create the Council of Friendship, and she declares that once every moon we meet up to stay in touch and help each other out. That way we never lose touch every moon. And flash forward back to the future, and here's the awesome part. We see the rest of the main 6 all grown up, and they're all doing their own things, and they all have their own new careers, or hell, excuse me. What's really awesome is some of them are even married or have kids. Like Pinkie Pie is a mother now with Cheese Sandwich, and Discord and Fluttershy are now together. And that's fucking awesome, man. And yeah, everyone is that's just great. That whole entire scene is great. Seeing everyone all grown up and older and living new lives, and they all have great new designs, and it was very mind boggling to see everyone all grown up and matured. Like for example, you see Rarity with like gray silver streaks in her mane and tail, and that she looks great with that, and but it gets even better, and I'll get to that. So back to Lester. She understands Twilight's story, but she's unsure where to start making friends. Just like, but just like Celestia did for Twilight years before, Twilight knows exactly where to send Lester. She sends her to where Celestia sent Twilight to in the start of the series, Ponyville, and let me tell you, the next part is you thought seeing all the main six older was awesome. Well, the final scene, which is also the final song in the series, "The Magic of Friendship Grows." It's a really nice long, like 3.5 minute song, and it's just fantastic. What a great final song for the series to have, and what's even greater about it is we see all of the rest of Ponyville and all of its citizens all grown up, leading new lives, and that was just, it made me speechless, and I was just smiling throughout that whole scene. Seeing everyone all grown up, along with the main six, we also see all the young six grown up, and we see Big Mac and Sugar Belle and the CMC all grown up, and we also see that Big Mac and Sugar Belle have a kid together as well. I can't remember what he looks like, but and there's also one part where each of the main six are singing, and whenever they come on, they show like collages of pretty much every character that's ever been, every main character, every supporting character, every one-time character, every background character. Like, this whole freaking sequence had hundreds upon hundreds of cameos, which is why it's impossible to count everyone that showed up. In that, it's impossible to count the amount of cameos. And I'd say there was like at least 1,000. At least 1,000 cameos in that whole freaking scene. And let me fix the camera a little bit. And so yeah, that whole scene was great. I mean, the cameos I saw Capper from the movie. I saw that one horse character, the one character who actually looked, the one character in the series who resembled a real life horse the closest. And we saw like a little Tenderheart. We saw some Rainbow Dash's parents, Twilight's parents, and Golden Delicious. Like, I swear, this scene requires multiple watches because you are not going to be able to catch everything upon your first viewing. I sure as hell didn't. But yeah, I mean, we saw all the main six, the young six, we saw literally everyone. Once again, tying into the theme of everyone is here. it's just fucking great. It's just a great scene. And yeah, it also dresses on the fact that life moves on, and also what's really sad is to know that Granny Smith and Golden Delicious passed away. That's fucking sad, man. But that's the circle of life. And yeah, so after that we see, once Twilight's finished singing, Lester, she winds up making a bunch of friends in Ponyville, and we the final freaking shot of all of the main six plus Spike standing against the sunset with gorgeous lighting that looks almost, if not as good as the lighting from the movie is present. And then after that, the storybook finally closes. It is the same storybook that was featured in the start of the series, Friendship is Magic Part 1. It finally closes. Like I said, we end as we began. And holy fucking shit. Great closing off point for the series, like I said. But yet, it leaves the door open for so many more stories and possibilities. That's the crazy thing, though. Like, it's rare for something to end on a perfect note and yet leave the door open for future stuff to happen. Like, that's fucking crazy. So, oh. Let me just say, this is the best series finale I've seen in a very long time. And for so many years in my life, my favorite series finale was the Avatar finale many years ago, and I think this beats that. I think it does, honestly, because for this finale, it was a great fucking finale. It was very heartwarming, and it was a perfect way to wind things down. It got me very emotional. It made me fucking cry, like holy fucking shit. And when something is able to make me cry, then that's how you know you've done a damn good job at something. And yeah, let me tell you, this finale, it made me think about my past, present, and future. Made me nostalgic for the entire series. It's like my memories of my journey throughout the entire series pretty much flash before my eyes, from high school all the way to now. And yeah, what a hell of a 9 years this has been. And I'm sort of addressing multiple points at the same time again, but like I said, the final lesson addresses on never losing touch with your friends. And it's always harder to deal with situations without friends than with friends. I can vouch for this. I speak from experience. So throughout no matter what situation I've always been in, good and bad, my friends have always been there for me, and like been there to support me and help me get through any bad situation. And I get along with everyone, but I'm always glad to have always had friends to talk to. That ties with the whole theme of the whole fucking series. Friendship is magic, and the magic of friendship does grow. You know? For something that seemed so cheesy so many years ago, it honestly fucking isn't, because friendship is very important. And that's how you maintain those friendships is what's important too. And I hope years down the line, unfortunately I have lost touch with some friends after high school and even after college. There's only a few friends I do keep in touch with nowadays, but there are some friends I want to get in touch with again. And I hope years and years from now, I'll still be able to keep in touch with my friends at that point. You know, something else that's interesting. You grab a cough drop. Brony. Once a brony, always a brony. Anyway, this was the last My Little Pony shirt I ever got. I got this back in 2015. Anyway, it got me to think about something really important. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry you guys had to hear that. But then, since this is all in one take, I'm not editing that out. I'm sorry. But anyway, and Dr. Wolf even touched on this as well. But this is something I have always been grateful for, and that YouTube is a perfect time capsule for me. You want to know why? Because, like Twilight, I'm able to go back to specific moments in my life from sophomore year onwards, and I'm able to just reminisce in like the most perfect way in video form. I know even before YouTube, even before videos existed, like ever since the photograph began, ever since the photograph was invented. Looking back on old memories, whether it be pictures or videos especially, I find videos to be even more effective. Looking back on old memories, it's great. It's great to reminisce on old fun memories. And for me, whenever I do so, it's like I am not here in where I am. I am in the same location and time period as the video that I'm watching, or even the picture that I'm looking at. My mom, let me tell you, she is a stickler for memories as well. She has entire fucking photo albums of just anything. She loves to take pictures. It might be annoying to some people, but, and even me sometimes, but let me tell you something. The fact that she's willing to take pictures whenever she has the chance to, or whenever she feels like, quite frankly, it allows her to be able to save those memories and lock all these memories in time, just like me with YouTube videos, and keep them in an album, or for me, keep them on a YouTube channel, or even sometimes on my computer for videos I didn't even upload to YouTube that I still have on here, actually. Like, I have videos of like some of my final moments of PH where I went to high school. And Mom and I do that, especially Mom, because we both do this because we value our memories, and we value all the good times. And it also leads to the present. Twilight wants to, and her friends want to value the good times as well. And back to the present. From me watching the show from the beginning to the end several years ago, and being in the present time watching this finale was quite a spectacle. and I actually didn't get to watch it alone, believe it or not. My cat friend Cleo, she's been in some videos. Even she got to watch it with me. I was hoping to be able to get to watch it with somebody, even if it was just one person. And even though it was Cleo the cat, even though she wasn't a human, I'm still glad I got to watch it with somebody, human or not. And that was really great. I ate cupcakes during it because Two Broke Girls isn't the only TV show synonymous with cupcakes. Not My Little Pony was synonymous with that first. So I ate Halloween-themed cupcakes celebrating two occasions at once. The LMP finale and the month of Halloween. See, that's another thing. My Little Pony debuted in the month of Halloween and ended in the month of Halloween. I wonder if that was the plan this whole time. Who the hell knows? Because it ran from October 10th, 2010 to October 12th, 2019. And let me remind you of something that My Little Pony and The Walking Dead premiered in the same damn month in the same damn year. Two smash hit television series premiered at roughly the same damn time. The Walking Dead is in the started season 10. My Little Pony has just finished season 9. And let me tell you something else. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I never thought in a million fucking years that I would ever watch My Little Pony. Let alone love My Little Pony. Because a brief story as to how I got into the series. One of my, I didn't get into it super right away. I did watch The Walking Dead when it first came on, but haven't kept up with it since after like season 5, I think. But I'm glad I was able to keep up with My Little Pony. Anyway, I got into My Little Pony in sophomore year of high school, like late 2011, early 2012. And one of my best friends, two of my friends actually, from Spanish class, they introduced me to Friendship is Magic. Not the internet, believe it or not. The internet is not what introduced me to Friendship is Magic. These two friends of mine introduced me to Friendship is Magic. At first, when I found out about it, once I found out they watched it, I'm like, oh, really? I was very shocked. So the first episode I watched was Secret of My Excess, Season 2, Episode 10. We watched it in Spanish classes on a free day. And after that, I decided to give the show a watch. I watched the first episode all by myself. The first 2 episodes, rather, like a few months afterwards. And then at first I was trying to watch it on TV Live to see if I can catch the episode. But then I thought, well, let's try to watch the episodes in order. So I watched the debut episodes, Friendship is Magic Part 1 and 2. And then I binge watched seasons 1 and 2. Luckily I got into the series when I did, because I got into it during season 2. And season 3 was the first season I was able to watch live, and fast forward to now. And I'll talk more deeply about this in my upcoming My Little Pony discussion video. But yeah. So anyway, My Little Pony premiered. First off, it's the only show I ever even watched on the channel it was on, and before it premiered on TV when it was known as The Hub, formerly known as Discovery Kids, and then in 2015 it went back to the Discovery name, being called Discovery Family. And yeah, once I got into it, I never looked back. And so yeah. There's also a 50-question Q&A I read. It took me like a half hour or so to read, but that was very great to read. The person also confirmed that the real Grogar is still out there somewhere, just like I thought. And yeah, it sucks. All my favorite shows are ending. Let me tell you something. Both of my favorite shows from high school have finally ended this year. The Big Bang Theory ended this spring of this year, and My Little Pony finally ended in the fall of this year. And also, The Good Place and Mr. Robot are ending next year after their 4th seasons. So, 2 of my other favorite shows. And let me tell you, there's a reason I wanted to review the final season. I knew it would be a challenge, but I owed it to myself to review the final season of one of my all-time favorite shows ever. And so I did it. I took up that challenge, and throughout this whole year, it's been a fucking blast doing it. And thank you, Lauren Faust, to the cast and crew, the voice actors, Daniel Ingram, the MLP staff, and Hasbro for all creating this generation of Friendship is Magic that defied all odds and set out to appeal to not just little girls, but anybody and everyone who watched it and loved it just like I did. Once a brony, always a brony. And also, the show also made me reflect on my future. What's my life going to be like in my 40s and 50s? I'm really excited to see, to be honest. And I think I am done. If you liked this video, then don't forget to subscribe. And like the video if you liked it, and ring the bell to be notified of future videos I make. And if you like this finale, then let me know what you loved about it in the comment section below. And what do you think of this final season and Friendship is Magic in general? And if there's anything I missed, let me know all of that stuff in the comments below. I'm very interested to hear your guys' thoughts. And in the meantime, though, stay tuned for more Loud House and Casagrande's video reviews coming out this week. So, also, I want to share a big thank you to Dr. Wolf, who inspired me to review this show in the first place. And he's been a great source of reference for you. He basically showed me how to review these episodes, and I can't thank him enough. Dr. Wolf, if you're watching, I would love to work with you. Hell, I would even love to do that discussion video with you talking about My Little Pony Friendship is Magic and its legacy on my channel. I would love to do that with somebody. You'd be the perfect guy to do it with. And thank you. Thank you, Lauren Faust, and everyone once again. And to Twilight, Applejack, Rainbow Dash, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, and Spike. I didn't want to make sure I didn't forget anyone. Thank you, Twilight. Thank you, Applejack. Thank you, Pinkie Pie. Thank you, Rainbow Dash. Thank you, Fluttershy. Thank you, Rarity. I think I said Rainbow Dash. Thank you, Rainbow Dash. Thank you, Discord. Thank you, Spike. Thank you, every pony and everyone, for an awesome show. Thank you for being some of my favorite characters of all time. And I will delve into this more in my upcoming discussion video. I'm going to do it with somebody, whether it's with... I'm going to have some special guest on here. I don't know who. But I'll talk about more of my thoughts in the upcoming discussion videos. So, once again, I'm Alex Swimmer, aka AP3Jump. Thank you so much for watching until the end. That is it for me, and I will see you soon. Goodbye. Let me give you guys one last bro hoof. Thank you, Twilight and every pony, for everything. You guys changed my life. No joke. And I mean that. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Bro hoof.